basketball analysis with over 70 years combined experience. This is the Bob Ryan and Jeff Goodman podcast. NBA, some college, a little bit of everything.
It's that time, people. It is time for the Bob Ryan, Jeff Goodman, Tanguay along for the ride pod, brought to you by PrizePicks, the exclusive daily fantasy partner of the CLNS Media Network. Pick more, pick less with PrizePicks. So generally, this is a sleepy time of year, post NBA championship. People are feeling good about the Celtics, but Jeff, our friend Jaylen Brown, has had a few things to say. There's been a little controversy. Let's first start with the fact that he's not on the Olympic team and Derek White got the nod over him.
I mean, listen, the reason is more because of a role, right? I mean, if they were looking for a dude to be a scorer, I almost feel like I'm not sure Jaylen would have been happy with this role anyway. They understood Derek White fits what they need, which is a supplementary piece right now who can come in and guard, and it's going to be so excited to just be a part and bring enthusiasm and just bring, again, a guy who's going to do whatever they ask. And I feel like they thought that if they tried that with Jaylen Brown, he's not going to be all in. And the other part is they didn't give him the invite the first time. So right. I'm not sure he would have accepted it.
Well, that's his real problem, actually, right?
Yeah, I think part of it is that he wasn't a part. But listen, when they picked this team, I believe all of it was chosen prior to his playoff run where he looked like a completely different player than he did a year ago in the postseason.
What a tribute to a roster. Think about it. 3 Olympians that nobody can complain about. And a fourth guy, and you know, I mean, two nobody can complain about. A third guy that is respected, and another guy that you can make a case for easily. You know, we can make a case for Brown, yeah, out of context. You know, no question. So, what a tribute to a roster. Damn good thing they won. Tell you that with that roster. But I mean, how many times? By the way, how many times have I said in this forum that every general manager in the league would gleefully trade his roster 100% for Boston's roster, turn it over to his coach, and say, "Don't drive this Ferrari off the road." And that's exactly what the Brad and Danny were able to do for, turns out, Joe Mazzulla, and he didn't drive the Ferrari off the road. But anyway, yeah, the Celtics. I hope that Brown is okay ultimately. Soon with that, they don't need this headache. You know, this is talk about. You're an innocent victim. The Celtics, you know, of this situation. They didn't cause any. They didn't cause this. Had nothing to do with it. And you know, hopefully the guy's going to be okay when they roll the balls out, you know, in September.
Well, I mean, Jeff is right. You know, timing comes down to a lot of it. But when you do look at the roster now, and hindsight's always 20/20. You know, Bam, Booker, Anthony Davis, even Anthony Edwards. You know, he didn't get as far as Brown did in the playoffs. Brown's the Finals MVP. Brown's the Eastern Conference MVP. I mean, you know, now it's the Jeff, as they say, the optics don't look right.
No, I mean, again, they don't, and Jaylen's not one to shy away from his opinion. And you know, he grew up; he's an Adidas kid. You know, that's what he is. And you know, I remember seeing him on the Adidas circuit when he was young, and you know, obviously put something out there about it being, which it is. I mean, the Olympics is heavily Nike. That's what it's been for years. And did it play a part? I mean, maybe if they knew him better, maybe if they could go to him and ask him, hey, you know, we need a guy, but we don't need a guy. We need a guy who's just going to kind of buy in and be a piece. And I feel like they weren't going to win there because I think he would have said no. I'm not sure he would have said yes. He probably already had in his mind, I've been disrespected.
Right.
But he used this as more motivation. Maybe I'm wrong.
It's just still unfortunate. And just when we totally trusted him, I mean, you know, finally, you know, and we got now, but he's saying, you know, he's certainly not knocking White. That's for sure. No, you know, he's certainly taking the right road with his teammate about in that regard. You know, although obviously he would have been a lot less put off if someone else from another team had been chosen rather than a teammate in this regard. But it's impossible to dislike White, and you really got to be a really horrible person not to like Derek
Oh,
White.
sure. And I'm sure he's happy
So-
for him. Yeah, it's a tough one. But I'll tell you, the only thing is I'll say this is we can't have it both ways. We can't have the Jaylen Brown that we saw really come of age with the absence of Marcus Smart and become the grit, the tough guy of this team, right? With the chip on his shoulder. I mean, this guy put the team's chip on his shoulder, Bob. I'll start with you on this.
Yeah.
And he carried it through the whole season. He carried it through the playoffs. We saw him call out Tatum. And that's one of the reasons I think he got the postseason awards. But we can't all of a sudden expect him to take the chip off. You know, I think that's just who the guy has become, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah, no, I'm sure I, for one, may be overreacting and still not. I'm only 97% sure we don't have to worry about him instead of 100. You know, but I can see what you said. Yes, it makes sense. The essentials that make him what he is. That's part of the makeup. Hey, human being, they're all different. He's not Tatum. Tatum's not him. You know, I'm sure when you look at, we could find differences if we look how deep we have to go to see what the differences are between Holiday and White. It seems like we've got, Siamese twins, in terms of the way they look at basketball and the range of their skill and what they bring to the team that, you can't pick them apart too much, but there must be some differences there, but they are who they are. So we all are who we are, and a lot of times we all have to make certain compromises and adjustments. All normal people, not just athletes, in circumstances. So yeah, he's being scrutinized, but the Celtics are focal. This is anything that pertains to the Celtics now is a big story in the NBA.
Prize Picks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. Over 5 million active members. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings just roll in. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. You could turn $10 into $1,000. Okay. Well, with the Celtics as NBA champs, the hoop action doesn't stop, though, on Prize Picks. Women's basketball is still heating up with stars like Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, looking to make big names for themselves alongside a great like Breanna Stewart. So here's something you could do. Like, here's what you could wager. This is something I like to do. Caitlin Clark for more than 3.5 3-pointers made and Breanna Stewart for more than 23 points. It's that simple. Pick more or pick less. That's how you do it. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. That's code CLNS on Prize Picks for a deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. But Jeff, have you been to the ESPYs when you were there?
I went once.
Okay. I don't see you as an ESPY type of guy, not at all. But hey, he got to go to the ESPYs,
Got to go to the ESPYs. He was sitting courtside in the summer league last night on Monday night to watch Bronny James's scintillating performance. Well, it wasn't very scintillating.
No.
How about that? And it's why all the athletes now, right, when they talk to each other, what do? They put their hands over their face at the end of the games because they don't want people to be able to read their lips.
Yeah.
Well, no, just so people know, is that there was some lip reading going on. Allegedly, Jaylen Brown said to his girlfriend that Bronny's not a pro. They didn't hear it. They were lip reading. And so Brown went on to say, it is a flex to have your son alongside you in the NBA. It reflects greatness and longevity. Bronny has all the tools around him to be successful. I look forward to watching his growth. Okay, so that's what he said. He said he has all the tools around him. He didn't say he has all the tools.
Right, and he didn't deny saying it because he was
correct.
I mean, listen, it was clear as day that he said, I don't think Bronny's a pro. His girlfriend said, I think he'll end up being in the G League this year. And he said, I don't think so, which is going to be the big question. But, I mean, listen, Jaylen Brown said what we all think other than LeBron right now. I mean, Bronny James has been honestly what I thought he'd be in the summer league so far, other than the fact that he's 0 for 15 from 3. He's averaging like 4 points a game, which is basically, that's what he averaged at USC this year. Same thing. He looks completely out of place, and somebody that honestly should have spent another year in college, should have transferred to Duquesne and played for LeBron's buddy, Drew Joyce, and averaged 15 a game. And then you come for the swan song of LeBron, and it feels a little bit different than it does right now, where now if you put him up with a big boy team, it's a laughing stock now. It's honestly turned into a laughing stock if you do that. Now, what I hope this has taught LeBron is your kid's not ready. Your kid is not ready for the NBA right now. If you want to have him come up at the end of the season and play one game when they're out of it, or they've already locked in a playoff seed or something like that, and you want to get him on the court for a couple minutes, I'm fine with that if he pays his dues in the G League all year. I'm okay with it. But if you start this kid who can't play in the summer league right now, if you start him in the Lakers with a big boy team, it's a joke. I mean, it honestly, it's a friggin' and JJ Redick, and Pelinka can't let that happen. They have to stand up to LeBron and tell him this isn't what's best for your son if you do that.
Yeah. No, it's on the verge of being a full-blown mess, and it's all LeBron's fault. Period. And he's got to bear the burden of this. This is a topic unprecedented, obviously, in not just the NBA, but I guess in all of them in North American sport. I don't think there's any comparable circumstance like this, and what a mess, all created because
it's so sad. And it's so sad because the kid didn't ask for it.
Yeah.
And he's a good kid who, again, plays the right way. He's just not good enough.
Right. There you go. Bottom line. Bob, your thoughts on the Olympics thus far?
Well, first of all, they beat Canada. Okay. And Canada,
you really watch these? Bob, you really watch all these exhibitions?
No, but I'm just going on what I've been following.
You know how many minutes I've watched, Bob? How many minutes do you think I've watched?
Same as me, 0.
0. It's irrelevant.
I'm keeping up in a sense.
Okay.
And the thing that jumped out at me, here's the thing that's jumped out at me, was Steve Kerr's the Australia game when they had a 24-point lead, got down to 6. And with turnovers, they've had an inordinate amount of turnovers. Now, okay, so let's stop back and think, are they just too casual in terms of their raw talent? They're not paying attention to detail yet. Is this a great coaching tool that right now that Coach Kerr has with these guys? You remember that, and the Dream Team had their moment when they almost lost to the select team.
I was talking to Bobby Hurley about that the other day, because that was Bobby Hurley on that team. He was not just on that team. He was the focal point of that team. He tore him apart. And the best part was, who else? It was Jeff Capel, who went to Duke too, and me and Bobby Hurley talking about it. And I guess there's a documentary out where Coach K basically says this was planned. This was planned to try to get the guys motivated. And Bobby didn't quite buy into the fact that it was planned, because I guess Bobby was going up against, who was it, Stockton? And he was he goes, in Magic, but Magic had just come back from his layoff. So he said, Magic wasn't really Magic. And I think Stockton, he was like, hey, if there's one guy I can look across and feel like I'm not going to be overmatched, John Stockton's probably that guy. And Hurley we should get Hurley on at some point, because he was really fun kind of recounting it. Yeah. But okay, and that's good. And because supposedly they were going, you guard him. No, I don't want to guard him. You guard him. That's the story that came out of that. And okay, which by the way reminds people would have been the what if of Bobby Hurley's professional career. Yep. Not too many professional careers end because you wind up face down in the ditch and you almost drown and you're saved by a teammate. That's a story not too many people have, sadly. But anyway,
but I'm saying, so maybe, this is going to be Kerr will be able to use this. I mean, I don't like hearing that. I don't like having the Olympic team sloppy. I mean, are they playing possum because they might play Australia later? No, of course not. I'm just throwing out there. But that's all. No, and of course Durant's not playing.
Hey, Bob, they were hungover from Vegas.
Okay.
Let's be honest. They had the Vegas hangover.
There's no panic or anything like that. I'm just saying that bothered me. So maybe that's going to be a good thing that Kirk can use. Just don't get sloppy, guys. I mean, come on,
Well, I mean, if you had 3 Celtics on the team, that's just typical, right?
But Derek wasn't there. He wasn't there yet.
Oh, okay. So, he wasn't there yet.
Okay. No, he could have righted the ship, But anyway, it's not a big deal. They're going to be fine. I don't see a country that has enough anywhere near what Spain had in 08 and 12 to give them a serious game.
But teams like this, guys, doesn't it? Of course, they are going to be a little lackadaisical. They're not going to be as intense. They need a wake-up call. But, I mean, Jeff, sometimes isn't there a chemistry issue when you bring these many stars together?
Sure, of course, Of course. But I think you've got enough pros on this team that you don't worry about the character of the team. That's generally, if you're gonna get a bunch of, me guys that are all about themselves, that are just looking to score. I don't see a ton of those. Do you? I mean, I don't see a lot of them. I mean, you got LeBron. Tatum knows how to move the ball. You got Drew. You got Derek White, Anthony Davis. I think you got enough. Embiid.
We said Edwards might be the only guy, but you felt he would fall in line.
Who?
Edwards.
Anthony
Edwards. Edwards.
Yeah. Edwards is the interesting one, but I just can't imagine. I think they're all going to be entertained by Anthony Edwards and his personality and his youthful exuberance. I think they're going to like him for that. Because a lot of these dudes are not older, but either older or chill. You know what I mean? Tatum's chill. Edwards has got that personality that you need on a group like this, just to kind of, hey, yeah, that young knucklehead over there.
You got 3 guys with a combined professional careers of over 45 years total. I mean, it was LeBron, Paul, and Durant. So, I mean, they've seen a few things. They've been around. They've encountered a few personalities in their time. I'm sure that, but the only other remote issue that could be, actually, I think, is you got to start LeBron, right? Period.
Yeah, I think he earned it.
He would not.
This is it.
Yeah.
This is it. You have to start him.
Even if you honestly think, you could put a better starting 5 together.
Right.
You got to start him.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. Out of respect. There's nothing better during the summer than experiencing a sunny afternoon at the ballpark, or maybe a nice summer evening, catching a ball game live in person, not streaming, not on your phone, not on the radio, not on the TV. I remember driving down from Maine every summer. It was a big deal. We get tickets to see the Red Sox at Fenway Park. And I just remember seeing the green grass as you'd walk up through the tunnel. It was like heaven. And I want you to have the same feeling. So go download the Game Time app and go see a game. Game Time is an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, so it's really easy to use. You can get your tickets faster and easier. Plus, as you get closer to the first pitch, the prices on Game Time actually go down. They have killer last-minute deals. They have the lowest price guarantee, and you can check out the view from your seats. Now, it's really easy. You just go to your phone, you download the Game Time app, you scan it, and you can see there are great seats to the Sox and the Yankees, or if you want that down-home minor league feeling, you can go see the Woo Sox or your favorite minor league club that's close to you. I go to Worcester and Polo Park. It is a great place to take the family to see a game. Very economical, too. Plus, Game Time also has great deals on the New England Revolution and Patriot preseason games. You can get last-minute deals and save up to 60% off on sports, concerts, comedy, and theater. You can save even more when you choose the section and you let Game Time choose the seats. You always get the lowest price guarantee, or Game Time will credit 110% of the difference. So take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app today, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CLNS for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices, guaranteed. Okay, let's get to the topic that has caused much controversy during these pre-show texts. Cameron Payne is the difference maker, the straw that stirs the drink for the New York Knicks, Bob Ryan.
I'm not saying that. Here's the deal. First of all, we got to start with the fact that Jaylen Brunson took a pay cut. The kind of thing that people,
Yes, that's the story.
That's the big deal to help the team. A big pay cut, of course, and the stratosphere money, the financial stratosphere these guys live in, something we can't even remotely comprehend. It's not as hard as but
right.
Still, remember the professional athletes keep score, and it's at the point of pride. Even if enough's enough, it's never enough if you can get more, because you got to keep score. Anyway, he doesn't think like that apparently, and more power to him. We're not remotely surprised, by the way, that if anybody's going to do it, he's certainly in a small list of people that we would think would be the first to do it. Well, he did it for the betterment of the teams. That's to be applauded. And the other thing is, they went out and they signed one more piece of their puzzle as they put their TEAM together, which the Celtics did, and look what the benefits are, is that one of the issues they did have during the playoffs this year was when Brunson wasn't on the floor, they didn't have a natural playmaker at all available. They had to shoehorn DiVincenzo, for example. That doesn't, that's not who he is. So now they have a legitimate professional backup guard who's not too bad, who's had his moments in this league. That's all. I mean, it helps their overall position. They are, with Mikal Bridges and him, they're a better team than when we last saw them, and they weren't too damn bad then. All right.
Okay.
I've spoken.
No, I'll give you that. I'll give you all that.
That's all.
But what I will say is the New York Knickerbockers did draft a guy with the 34th overall pick in the NBA draft this year out of Cumberland, Rhode Island, named Tyler Kolek, Robert Ryan.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's right. Rookie, right? I forgot. All right. You're big on him.
Huge. I think he's just he's like the poor man's Jaylen Brunson in some ways, like that gritty, tough. He's not as talented, but not that Jaylen Brunson, anybody ever, described him as ultra talented. Nobody ever did. No. So Kolek is perfect for this Knicks team, and Campaign can get used to sitting over there on the bench and playing a little bit here.
Tell you what, they got those fine. Those two go into competition in the training camp, and made a better man win. Fine.
Yeah, you got your veteran against your old rookie. Yeah.
I mean, you never. So but their roster is significantly deepened, as since the season ended, and of course this presupposes. And by the way, re-signing Anunoby, which was important, and presumably the restoring the health of Randall, very important. Because when he went down, there's that their chances of really doing something diminished.
All right, there's a bigger move. There's a bigger move right now than Campaign going to the Knicks. Adrian Wojnarowski just broke that the Bucks have signed Gary Trent Jr. to a 1-year deal, which actually is way more important. Not that Gary Trent's everything, but what he is a guy who can shoot the hell out of the ball.
Yeah.
He's shot about 40% from three.
That's important.
He gives them something because the Bucks have it. That's kind of what they were missing this year. Trent averaged 2 years ago for Toronto. He averaged 17 a game or something, something like that.
No, that's important.
Yeah, I think this actually signing is way more impactful than your boy Campaign in the Big Apple.
Right. So
I will humbly concede that. That's an important signing.
You can't tell it's July by watching this, by the way. But on a sad note, Jelly Bean Bryant, the father of the late Kobe Bryant, has passed away. And Bob, you have some thoughts.
Well, Jelly was a very, very good college player, averaged 20 points a game career at LaSalle, an 8-year NBA career for 76ers, Clippers, and the Rockets. Of course, the most important thing he did was sire one of the handful of greatest players who ever lived, in young Kobe, and had a successful career in Italy. He was a multi-skilled. Well, I'll borrow a Charles Barkley phrase to I think a multi-skilled chucklehead. His hull did not exceed that reach the sum of its parts for reasons unknown. There was something missing, with his approach to the game. He had skill, and it was best embodied that he didn't understand what this was. When he was traded from the 76ers to the Clippers, his quote was, "Well, I guess this means they don't want a Magic Johnson type around here," unquote. That's so, I marvel that as we learned how good Kobe was, that this is where did this come from Joe Bryant? How did he side with this exceedingly brilliant basketball mind and kid, But anyway, think about it, Jelly was benevolent. He never hurt anybody except himself, He apparently came back home, beloved by the LaSalle community. A nice guy, and should have had a better career, but he left us. That's behind. He left behind.
Wasn't really self-aware. What I find it interesting is that through all of Kobe's success, we didn't really see a lot of him. He didn't seem to seek the limelight or be in the fringe of it with his son.
That's a very good point. And I remember a couple times along the way thinking about, just what you just said, that he's not basking publicly in the glow, and he could have easily done that. So no, I mean, that probably fits in what I'm saying. It was a nice guy, but he should have gotten more out of his career. But we were talking earlier about you are who you are, personalities. Well, there's one. It's another example.
You are who you are, gentlemen. That'll do it. Enjoy the week. Stay cool. And we are brought to you by Prize Picks, the exclusive daily fantasy partner of the CLNS Media Network. Pick more, pick less with Prize Picks. For Jeff Goodman, Bob Ryan, and Gary Tanguay. We'll see you next time, guys.